Hi, Stuart here with another quick hit video. I'm often asked how teams and individuals can be more effective. And so here is a set of kind of mixed skills about things to do to be better. And I specifically am thinking about people who deliver software, but honestly, this applies to life. Learn to touch type. If you're a developer, a QA, a manager, anybody who has to interact with the keyboard and get information in to get value out, then touch typing is an enormous personal advantage in terms of productivity. When various universities have studied developer productivity, the ability to touch type above a certain rate is one of the top things always. And on a human level, you have, in how you think, a buffer of thoughts that you want to get out into the computer. And the mechanism for doing that in the main is touch typing. Now, people have tried voice recognition systems and things, and those will continue to get better. But if you're a developer, a QA, a manager, somebody who is trying to take things out of their head and put them into words or code or whatever, touch typing is surprising as an accelerator. And it's enough to differentiate you from your peers alone. Keep lists and work them. I am a phenomenal list maker. Lists come in all forms. I keep lists in my Outlook. I keep lists in my software delivery system. I often use Azure DevOps or GitHub, and I keep lists of things to do in there. I have personal lists that are on my phone and all my other devices via Evernote. And not only do I make lists, but I work them. In other words, I do the things that are on them and mark them complete. And if you're in a software team, what are you doing? Well, you're resolving bugs or stories, or you're creating bugs or stories for others. But they're lists, and people should work them. And just because you made a list item doesn't mean that you're working it, but it does mean that you probably want to make sure it gets done. Embrace and emit honesty, integrity, and transparency. I shouldn't have to explain to anyone what any of these things mean, but it's good to take the acronym HIT and put it into your consciousness and self-audit and say, have I been the very best, honest person who acts with integrity and transparency in my interactions, and constantly strive to improve that. And that will build your personal brand and your trustworthiness, and it will absolutely drive your ability to be an influencer. Next on my list of things is do the hard things first. And I think there is a natural human tendency to kick the can. And successful people, when they're interviewed, are not afraid to go right at the hardest problem on their radar, reasoning that if they can make progress on that, that everything else is proportionally easier. And I find it also to be a great motivator. Eat your vegetables, do your homework, do the hard things first so you can do other things. Everything on every project is about risk management. This is not this is not hyperbole. This is a statement of intent. When you develop a software system, you have business goals. Otherwise, why do it? And every decision made by every actor or stakeholder in that process should be driven by risk. So developers and architects should be making technology and coding decisions to manage risk. QA should be focusing their attention on the highest risk items. BAs and Scrum Masters should be focused on delivering the parts of the business value that are the hardest to do. See last slide. Because then it makes it easier to deliver the rest of the things. So do hard things first, go right at risk, square on, and manage it and be conscious of it. And in the vocabulary in which you discuss your project, risk should be either an implied or explicit part of the conversation around every critical path decision. And that applies to your life as well. Clean up as you go. Those of us who had any kind of formal cooking training know this one. Mise en place, or a place for everything and everything in its place. Or if you clean up as you go, your code will never give you woe. These are all absolutely true. This thought process, this core value, avoids building up technical debt, which is insidious and poisonous and drives risk into your project, is motivated by the following observation. If you don't have time to do it right, you'll never have time to do it over. So clean up as you go. Learn to collaborate with accountability. So there is a roles and responsibilities matrix style that is widely used called RACI. R, responsible, A, accountable, C, consulted, I, informed. When you go to collaborate at any level, inside your team, between teams, between projects and IT, between projects and InfoSec, right? You need to document the RACI elements that you're collaborating on. So you make a list of expectations across, down. You may take your regular list, right? And then across, you put in the RACI things. And in the intersection of a list item and a box, there should be one and only one letter. In other words, who's responsible, who actually will do the work, who is accountable for making sure the work gets done, who needs to be consulted for the work to succeed, and who needs to be informed to know what the status of that work is. And if you manage projects that way, you need very little in the way of ceremonies. Kanban, for example, boiled down to its essential, is captured in these 7 things. And if you follow them, you can be personally and professionally successful. My name is Stuart. Thank you for your kind attention.